अस्सलाम वालेकुम रहमतुल्लाह। बड़ी पिन ड्रॉप साइलेंस है माशाल्लाह। अच्छा, बासमा मलिक साहिबा तिलावत। वालेकुम सलाम।
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. إذ قالت امرأة عمران رب إني نذرت لك ما في بطني محررا فتقبل مني إنك أنت السميع العليم. فلما وضعتها قالت رب إني وضعتها أنثى والله أعلم بما وضعت وليس الذكر كالأنثى وإني سميتها مريم وإني أعيذها بك وذريتها من الشيطان الرجيم. فتقبلها ربها بقبول حسن وأنبتها نباتا حسنا وكفلها زكريا. كلما دخل عليها زكريا المحراب وجد عندها رزقا. قال يا مريم أنى لك هذا؟ قالت هو من These verses just recited are from Surah Ali Imran, verses 36 to 39. I seek refuge with Allah from Satan the accursed. In the name of Allah, the gracious, the merciful. Remember when the woman of Imran said, My Lord, I have vowed to thee what is in my womb to be dedicated to thy service. So do accept it of me. Verily, thou alone art all hearing, all knowing. But when she was delivered of it, she said, My Lord, I am delivered of a female, and Allah knew best what she had brought forth, and the male she was thinking of was not like the female she had brought forth. And I have named her Mary, and I commit her and her offspring to thy protection from Satan the rejected. So her Lord accepted her with a gracious acceptance, and caused her to grow an excellent growth, and made Zechariah her guardian. Whenever Zechariah visited her in the chamber, he found with her provisions. He said, O Mary, whence hast thou this? She replied, It is from Allah. Surely Allah gives to whomsoever he pleases without measure. There and then did Zechariah pray to his Lord, saying, My Lord, grant me from thyself pure offspring. Surely thou art the hearer of prayer.
نکاشہ قریشی صاحبہ نظم.
السلام علیکم حضرت. الہی تو ہمارا پاسباں ہو، ہمیں ہر وقت تو راحت رساں ہو، تیرے بن زندگی کا کچھ نہیں لطف، ہمارے ساتھ پیارے ہر زماں ہو، مصیبت میں ہمارا ہو مددگار، ہمارے درد دل کا رازداں ہو، ہمیں اپنے لیے مخصوص کر لے، ہمارے دل میں آ کر مہماں ہو، تجھے جس راہ سے لوگوں نے پایا، وہ راز معرفت ہم پر آیا ہو، ہماری موت ہے فرقت میں تیری، ہمیشہ ہم پہ تو جلوہ گناہ ہو، ہمارا حافظ و ناصر ہو ہر دم، ہمارے باغ کا تو باغباں ہو، کرے اس کی اگر تو آب پاشی، تو پھر ممکن نہیں بیم خزاں ہو، ذلیل و خوار و رسوا ہو جہاں میں جو حاسد ہو عدو ہو بد گماں ہو عبادت میں کٹیں دن رات اپنے ہمارا سر ہو تیرا آستاں ہو خدا نے ہم کو دی ہے کامرانی فسبحان الذی اوفی الامانی فسبحان الذی اوفی الامانی فسبحان الذی اوفی الامانی عطا کر جاہ و عزت دو جہاں میں ملے عظمت زمین و آسماں میں بنے ہم بلبلے بستان احمد رہے برکت ہمارے آشیاں میں ہمارا گھر ہو مثل باغ جنت ہو آبادی ہمیشہ اس مقام میں ہماری نسل کو یا رب بڑھا دے ہمیں آباد کر کونوں مقام میں ہماری بات میں برکت ہو ایسی کہ ڈالے روح مردہ اس تخوا میں الہی نور تیرا جاگزیں ہو زباں میں سینہ میں دل میں دہاں میں غم و رنج و مصیبت سے بچا کر ہمیشہ رکھ ہمیں اپنی امان میں بنے ہم سب کے سب خدام احمد کلام اللہ پھیلائیں جہاں میں تیرا وہ فضل ہو نازل الہی کہ ہو یہ شور ہر کونوں مقام میں خدا نے ہم کو دی ہے کامرانی فسبحان الذی اوفی الامانی فسبحان الذی اوفی الامانی فسبحان الذی اوفی الامانی.
رپورٹ شناز احمد صاحبہ.
بسم اللہ الرحمن الرحیم. Assalamu alaikum, beloved Hazur. On behalf of Waqfat UK, I would like to thank Hazur Anwar, Ayatollah Ta'ala bin Nasir al-Aziz, for gracing our ijtema. We are extremely grateful that Hazur Anwar has given us some of his precious time. Hazur, during the last year, 12 regions held their Waqfat-e-Nau ijtimas, and 5 regions also held their regional tarbiyat days. The Central Waqfat-e-Nau team visited 9 regions. During these visits, we held meetings with the local Waqfat-e-Nau secretaries and also arranged question-answer sessions with the mothers. Hazur, now a brief report of today's ijtima. All Waqfat above the age of 7 were invited. By the grace of Allah, today's total attendance is 1,154 Waqfat-e-Nau. Out of these, 649 Waqfat-e-Nau are between age 7 and 15, and 505 are above 15 years of age. Our ijtima commenced at 8:30 a.m. with breakfast and registration. The opening session started at 9:30 with recitation of the Holy Quran, followed by an address by Rubina Nasir Sahiba, acting Sadr Lajna UK. The Waqfat-e-Nau then took their annual examination. The examination was followed by interactive workshops in accordance with age groups. The aim of the workshops was to emphasize the importance of waqf, with a particular stress on the constitution for Waqf-e-Nau. The workshop titles were as follows: 1. Stories of people dedicating their life for Jamaat. 2. What does it mean to be a Waqf-e-Nau? 3. How should a Waqf-e-Nau handle peer pressure? 4. Priorities of a Waqf-e-Nau before and after marriage. And 5. Mother's role in raising Waqf-e-Nau children. Hazur, we also had a talk by the Ahmadiyya Muslim Research Association and a separate workshop for the mothers. I would also like to take this opportunity to thank the National Secretary Waqf-e-Nau, Masroor Sahib, and his team for their ongoing support. The Lajna Waqf-e-Nau regional coordinators, Waqf-e-Nau secretaries, Sadr Sahiba, and the National Lajna Amla members, National Sami Basri team, National Ziyafat team, and all the Lajna duty holders for helping with the ijtima. Finally, on behalf of Waqfat-e-Nau UK, I request Hazur's prayers that we fulfill our obligations and come up to the expectations of our beloved Imam. Hazur, this concludes the ijtima report. Jazakallah.
Last year, how much
Last year,
attendance kya thi?
1,139.
And this year?
1,154.
More than last year or less than?
More than last year.
Huh?
1,139 last year thi.
54.
54.
20 extra.
Ji.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله أما بعد فأعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين. With the grace of Allah Ta'ala, once again you are holding the Waqfat-e-Nau National Ijtima. I hope that you will have all benefited from the various programs and events that have taken place. Just like other Ahmadi girls in the UK, you have grown up in this Western society. However, you are distinct from them in one significant respect, which is that your parents, prior to your birth, dedicated your future lives for the sake of your faith. Your parents prayed that Allah the Almighty enables you to serve Islam and to play a distinguished role in spreading its teachings far and wide. In light of this, always remember that you must constantly strive to learn and act upon the teachings of Islam. For any Ahmadi, in fact, for any Muslim, the most basic obligation is to fulfill the rites of the worship of Allah. Thus, the very first thing I wish to remind you is that you must ensure that you are regular in offering namaz 5 times a day. Further, you must offer namaz sincerely and in a state of complete submission to Allah the Almighty, and not in a hurried way, just so you can claim to have fulfilled your obligation. To truly fulfill the rites of worship, you must always keep at the forefront of your mind that you are bowing before Allah the Almighty, who is all-powerful and all-hearing, and you are presenting your heartfelt hopes and desires to Him. Certainly, the foremost aspiration of any member of Waqf-e-Nau, indeed of any true Muslim, and of any person who has pledged their life to the service of Islam, should be to obtain the nearness of Allah the Almighty. Consequently, it is of absolute importance that you always try to raise the standards of your worship. The second principal point I wish to draw your attention to is that you must bear in mind that the perfect teaching Allah the Almighty has bestowed upon us is in the blessed shape of the Holy Quran. It is a universal, everlasting, and timeless teaching. Every single instruction of the Holy Quran is according to human nature. And it cannot be suggested that because the Holy Quran was revealed over 1,400 years ago, it is out of date or for a bygone era. Rather, every word of the Holy Quran remains as applicable today as it did in the time of the Holy Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Nor is it right to say that because of the Quran was revealed amongst the Arabs, it is only for the Arab people. Where the Holy Quran's teachings are for the Arab peoples. They are also for the people of Europe, the Americas, Asia, Africa, and all parts of the world. Hence, in all respects, just as the Holy Quran was relevant and worthy of practice 1,400 years ago, it remains the same today. Therefore, all Waqfat must entirely eliminate from their minds the belief that Islam is an old-fashioned religion or somehow backward. Instead of being a religion of the past, it is a religion of today and tomorrow, and will remain until the end of time, inshallah. Accordingly, no matter what allegations or criticisms are leveled against Islam, you must never feel any embarrassment or complex over your faith. There is no allegation and no criticism that cannot be refuted. The reality is that Allah the Almighty has provided the answer to every charge or accusation made against Islam, whether by non-Muslims or non-religious people, in the Holy Quran itself. Furthermore, we are extremely fortunate that in this era, the Promised Messiah al-Islam has enlightened us to the true meaning and interpretation of the Holy Quran and equipped us with intellectual weapons to respond to those who oppose Islam or query it. Thus, to understand the deeper meanings of the Holy Quran, it is essential you read the books of the Prophet Messiah al-Islam as well as the other books published by the Jamaat. Certainly, in this era, it is only by reading the books of the Prophet Messiah al-Islam and his Khulafa that we can only truly comprehend our faith and respond to those who level false allegations against Islam. Many of you are now in your teenage years, as has been mentioned in the report, while some of you are now adults and have been blessed with your own children. As you have reached an age of understanding and maturity, you must make it a habit to set aside time every day to read the books or writings of the Prophet Messiah al-Islam, as they will furnish you with the necessary means to defend your religion. On many occasions, I have spoken of how Islam's teachings are extremely comprehensive and far-reaching. Indeed, the Holy Quran is filled from cover to cover with knowledge and direction pertaining to all aspects of your lives. and the wider society. The Quran guides mankind all the way from the domestic family unit through to international relations. In the same way, Islam has taught us about the rights of the individual, including the rights of children, and it has taught us about the rights of the collective, including the rights of government and public. As I have said, the Prophet Messiah Islam has expounded upon these teachings so that the members of his Jamaat are able to understand their faith and defend it from any criticism or false charge. Hence, you should disregard any hesitation or fear and stand up with certainty and conviction in the truth of your faith and respond to those who seek to defame its pure teachings. Irrespective of whether you are working full-time for the Jamaat or not, as a member of Waqf-e-Nau, it is your duty to propagate the true and peaceful teachings of Islam through your words and conduct. It has always been my experience that when worldly and materialistic people who consider themselves to be extremely advanced and educated are presented with the true beautiful teachings of Islam, they cannot help but be impressed. Particularly considering the raging conflict and division in the world, when we present Islam's peaceful and compassionate teachings, it has an extraordinary effect. Many people are left astonished and overwhelmed by the magnificence of Islam's benevolent teachings. Thus, as sincere Ahmadi Muslim girls and ladies, and as members of the Waqf-e-Nau scheme, you should never hold any form of inferiority complex about your religion. Never entertain the thought that your religion is somehow backward or out of touch with the modern world. Conversely, the more you take pride in your religion and the more you live your lives according to the teachings of Islam, the more others will respect you, and this is how your honor and dignity will be established in the world. Surely, there is no Islamic teaching that should cause any complex or apprehension to emerge in your minds. Never worry for a second that others might taunt you or consider you to be a laughingstock because of your religious belief. If they mock, let them. Some people criticize or deride parda and hijab, whilst others disparage our way of offering namaz. Unfortunately, some young Ahmadis, particularly teenagers, develop an inferiority complex or feel humiliated and rejected by such ridicule. However, if you are ever mocked for acting upon your religion, you should never take it as a personal humiliation. Rather, you should consider it to be a badge of honor and feel pride in the knowledge that you have stayed strong in your faith in the face of adversity. Showing patience and keeping your head held high in such circumstances is the true means of establishing your honor and self-respect in the world. We are the fortunate ones, as we have not forgotten our values. Today, most people, especially in the Western world, have lost their true religious identity. Even those who claim themselves to be followers of religion are living lives that bear no correlation to their faith. Whilst many young members of Western society still identify as Christians, in reality, the vast majority are not following the teachings of Christianity and have no affinity or link with the church. In fact, a consequence of the lack of interest in religion amongst today's youth has been that as the older generations who were more religiously inclined have passed on, many churches have been left uninhabited to the point that they are being sold on the open market to the highest bidder. They fail to realize that selling a sacred place of worship is not a trivial or insignificant matter. Furthermore, in the name of so-called freedom, today's society considers itself to be extremely advanced and progressive, and believe they have reached the height of civilization. Yet, in reality, as society has moved away from religion, moral standards have declined in parallel. In terms of morality and virtue, instead of advancing, modern societies are suffering from deep decay. By separating from God Almighty, humanity is rapidly moving away from basic standards of common decency. For example, in modern society, it is very normal for children to disrespect their parents and not listen to them. Even a basic level of respect that a child should have for his parents and for his elders is eradicating. This too is classed as freedom and independence. Increasingly, data shows that if parents are firm with their children, it leads to the involvement of the local authorities or even the police being called. As a result, the family unit is breaking down. Is it a measure of success if more children are being taken into social care, or if the authorities are being required to act? Is this progress? Is this development? Is this the great achievement of our time? Now, belatedly, society is starting to understand the harmful consequences of absolute freedom. For example, after observing families being destroyed and the complete lack of respect amongst children for their elders, a few people in Western society are starting to voice their concerns about this issue. Always remember that the peace of society is directly connected to the peace within families, within that society. Peace in the home is based on good morals and mutual respect between a husband and his wife, and between the parents and their children. Thus, always keep in mind that as members of Waqf-e-Nau, it is essential that you manifest the highest morals of all times. All of you, whether you are children, teenagers, or adults, must fulfill the rights of your parents, your siblings, and other family members. Those who are married must treat their children and spouse with love, fulfill their rights, and ensure that their home is a mirror reflection of Islam's teachings. As I said before, always remember that the fulfilling the rights of Allah the Almighty and acting upon His teachings, which are immersed within the incomparable treasure that is the Holy Quran, must always take precedence in our lives. Hence, you must read the Holy Quran, the commentaries of the Prophet Messiah al-Islam and of his Khulafa, and take pride in the fact that you are the worshippers of a living God, and follow a noble Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, whose teachings will remain forevermore, inshallah. Take pride in the fact that your religious belief is your means of success and salvation, both in this world and in the next life. Certainly, if you live your lives according to the teachings of the Holy Quran, you will come to observe paradise within your own homes and daily lives. I also wish to remind the parents of Waqf-e-Nau children that they must continually reflect upon the fact that they have pledged their children for the sake of Islam. And so, if they do not set a pious example for their children, they will have failed to discharge their duties. They will be blameworthy for the failure of their children to grow into true assets for our Jamaat. To dedicate your child is to make a lifelong commitment to increase your own standards of righteousness so that you are role models for your children. Similarly, many Waqf-e-Nau are now married and have their own children, and so they must solemnly ponder over the pledge first made by their parents, which they have now made for their own progeny, and constantly strive to raise their children in the best possible fashion and set a personal example of piety for them to follow and learn from. If you live your lives in this way, it will ensure the continued progress and prosperity of our Jamaat, inshallah. The high status of women in Islam is such that it is only through their noble efforts that the coming generation will remain attached to their faith. Only if mothers play their crucial role can the great values of our religion remain firmly instilled in our future generations. Otherwise, we could suffer the same fate as other religious communities who have lost their traditions and values over time. As I said, Christians are selling churches, while some Jewish communities are doing the same with their synagogues. Consequently, if we do not remain devoted to our faith and do not set positive examples for the future generations, then our mosques will become empty and hollow shells, just as the churches and places of worship of other religions have become. However, inshallah, this will never happen, because it is the promise of Allah Ta'ala that Islam will remain in living religion, will remain a living religion until the day of judgment. This is why He sent the Prophet Muhammad Islam to revive the true teachings of Islam, and after his demise, the institution of Khilafat was re-established by Allah the Almighty. Hence, it will not be that our mosques are sold off or that the progress of our Jamaat will cease, yet the lives of those Ahmadis who are neglectful of their duties and who do not remain attached to their faith will be squandered, and their future generations will be lost to the materialistic world. Thus, as Ahmadi women and girls, as members and daughters, as mothers and daughters, and as Waqf-e-Zindagi, you must understand your duties. Even if you are not working full-time in a Jamaat department, you are all Waqf-e-Zindagi. And so you must strive to increase your religious knowledge so that you can act upon your faith and instill Islamic values within your children. Be righteous, observe the highest morals, always speak the truth, uphold Islamic principles, and strive to be better Muslim every single day of your lives. Only then can we ensure that our children and generations who follow are in safe hands and will grow to be a source of pride for our Jamaat. Always remember that for both believing men and believing women, it is necessary to keep taqwa, righteousness, at the forefront of your mind, which means to strive towards attaining every form of goodness and virtue. Thus, endeavor to be the most truthful, the most hardworking, and most faithful servant of Islam. Consider it your lifelong duty to spread the true message of Islam. May Allah the Almighty enable all of you to live righteous lives and to draw ever closer to your Creator. According to His command, may you nurture the generation that lies in your laps in a way that ensures that the Jamaat's spiritual, moral, and intellectual standards continue to rise, and that no Ahmadi child moves away from the teachings of Islam and wastes their life. May Allah the Almighty enable all of you to act upon the true teachings of Islam and to be shining stars of Ahmadiyyat and to be a continued source of pride for our Jamaat. Ameen. Now please join me in silent prayer. Ameen.